On this year's ballot, Proposition 16 asks Californians whether to embrace affirmative action. This will allow the consideration of race, ethnicity, and gender for programs and applications to public college, government contracts, and government employment. California banned such considerations in 1996 when Proposition 209 was passed. But this year, amid protests over police brutality and systemic racism, Proposition 16 aims to repeal that ban.
I almost didn't go to college, so I'm thinking about my own journey, and I didn't know anyone else who went to college. I was the first in my family, in my extended family, to go to college. I didn't have an Asian American teacher until just last year in college, and that was I didn't even realize what a impactful difference that made in feeling seen in these spaces. Voting yes on Proposition 16 will repeal the ban on affirmative action and allow for the hiring and retention of more teachers and students that look like me.
Proposition 16 supporters say it will ensure equality, but Proposition 209, 24 years ago, was passed to accomplish the same goal by taking gender and race out of consideration.
It breaks my heart that after all the hard work we put in to make 209 a reality, stop over racism and sexism, that today we have to do it again.
In fact, supporters and opponents of Proposition 16 this year have very similar slogans: equal opportunities for all versus vote no on discrimination. Those opposed, including many Republicans and a large group of newly immigrated Chinese Americans, organized more than a dozen car rallies across California in recent months to express why they would vote no on Proposition 16. They spread the word on Facebook, Twitter, and also on WeChat. This WeChat article lists dozens of WeChat IDs, allowing people to join group chats and connect with others organizing or participating in car rallies in different cities. Opponents of Proposition 16 argue that it will lead to racial quotas in government institutions and public colleges for hiring and admissions. Today, Asian American students are the UC system's most overrepresented major demographic group. When you compare their proportion among California high school graduates who meet UC admission requirements, they are afraid that Proposition 16 will reduce Asian Americans' chances of admission.
Being part of the lower bracket of the lower income, I feel as if I really need to work harder, to get to a good college. But with this proposition, I won't be able to possibly go to a specific college that I want to if we are going to be in proportions deciding on whether there's a limitation between how many students of my race is able to be there or how many of my gender is able to be there. So definitely it's an important thing to talk about, especially when we're talking about college or even employment in the future.
But racial quotas, numerical requirements for hiring or admitting members of a particular racial group, were ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court in 1978. The University of California system also announced that it will ban the use of quotas based on race and gender in admissions, hiring, and contracting, even if Proposition 16 were to pass. Stanford University educational law and policy professor William Koski says, instead of implementing quotas, Proposition 16 will allow public institutions to set up certain programs to help improve diversity.
So they might say, let's fund some programs that give preparation for AP courses or preparation for A through G courses to ensure that students do well in those courses, and that will help them, get their grade point averages up, help them pass, some AP courses and really pump up their grade point average, and maybe do preparation in any kind of standardized testing that might be used in the UC or CSU systems like ACT or SAT. They could say we can specifically provide those kind of programs to African American students.
By mid-October, opponents of Proposition 16 have raised more than $1 million, while supporters have collected nearly $17 million. including donations from Kaiser Foundation and Netflix. Supporters include Governor Gavin Newsom, Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi, and Senator Kamala Harris. A recent poll shows 31% of Californians will vote yes, and 47% will vote no on Proposition 16, while 22% remain undecided. Researcher Sunny Shao, who studies Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders' voting behaviors, says that's because many of those who oppose Proposition 16 want more than just a ban on quotas.
I think there is a huge amount of Chinese Americans who are opposing this, who just want a strict merit-based admission system. So that's not up to negotiation. They don't want to have anything other than their kids' SAT score and GPA, right, and other performance-related profiles to be considered as part of the qualification to go to UC or other schools.